We all know I had to buy it. But I still mostly restrain myself. Hi, and welcome to Quilt Meets World, where we have adventures in piecing and joy. I'm Russ, coming into my sewing room. As this is take two, because either the first time I tried to record, it somehow stopped recording, or maybe I forgot to actually hit record. I don't know. I'm not going to know until I start editing. But either way, this is take two of my vlog. It's already getting late, and I'm like, whatever. It is what it is. So I had Thursday and Friday off this past week, which mounted for a really awesome weekend because we all need more days in our weekend. On Thursday, I was able to sleep in just a tad, but I still got up in time to be able to hit my local quilt shop shortly after they open. Why that early? Well, last weekend, they had posted that they had gotten the new Camille Roskelley line available, her Nantucket Summer line. And they post, I didn't see that post until well after everything was closed on that Saturday. And I was busy that Sunday because we had sewing shenanigans, so I couldn't go that day. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday work, so I was like, I need to go there. Thursday. I knew they weren't going to sell out, but there's all that. But then on, I believe it was Tuesday of last week, they posted that they had a goodie that I'm like, I really want it. But they didn't say how many they had. And I was like, I need to just, I need to go because I want to make sure I get it. So I spent a few dollars. The first thing, it starts with a conversation of why go to Amazon and pay $30 to $40 for something when you can make it yourself for $200. It comes back from like 2 months ago, I think it was. My friend Stephanie of Quilting with Stephanie Stitches, she had made a really cool messenger bag, and her daughter wanted to steal it from her. And she goes, no, 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 you ain't getting this. This is from fabric that I love, but I'll make you another. And I think we were on a live, probably one of the dragon fruit sessions. And people are like, well, you should do that as a tutorial or a sew along or something. And it's been mulling in the back of her head as to whether or not she's going to do it. But I was like, either way, I want to learn how to make a bag. And this is probably going to be a decent one to try to practice with. So I bought the pattern and I had decided I'm going to do this in Nantucket Summer. So this is the primary bag fabric. I don't remember what print this is called, but it's her flowers. And then this one I think is called the coordinating fabric. I remember where it goes in the bag, but I don't know how to describe it because, again, I haven't made a bag yet, so I don't know how to describe all these things. And then it needs a contrasting fabric for some stuff, so I chose this print for it, and I think they're going to go great together. It does require a fourth fabric, and I was planning on doing one of the Bella Solids that matches with the line, but they didn't have it at my shop. And because I'm going to have to make a couple other purchases online, I have decided that, I can just put that however much fabric it needs in with that purchase. Get it there. I try to buy local when I can. If you don't have what I need locally, I'm going to go to other sources because I need my fabric. The other thing that I got was this cheater print. And unfortunately, the way that it was folded, I can't show you all of the or I can't show you basically a good portion of it so that you can see all the cheater blocks on it without me unraveling the entire thing. But I was like, I gotta have me some of that cheater fabric. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Easily a whole cloth quilt, but I haven't decided if I'm going to practice like some of my long arm stuff where I can, do square on a square at a time, or if I'm just gonna, make a really quick edge to edge quilting on it. So we will see eventually what happens with that. I also, because this is Nantucket Summer, this is the second time this fabric line has come out. I did not get a fat quarter bundle when it first came out. I really didn't realize it was going to speak that much to me when it was out, and by the time that it started really speaking like that to me, they didn't have bundles or anything left. So I got me a fat quarter bundle this time because I was like, I really want this. Don't know if I'm going to do a project with it or if it's just going to sit pretty on my shelves for the rest of my life. But I have this here. So those, okay, just the bag fabric was what I went for. But like I said, on Tuesday, they had posted that they had this really cute goodie box, which is this. I found out during Saturday Sampler that this was originally going to be a 10, but something tariffs, it got to be too expensive, so they decided to make it with plastic. And I'm guessing like this has a almost like a toolbox or a toolkit kind of feel for it. Inside here, we have a package of 8-inch squares. These aren't 10-inch squares like a regular layer cake. There is only 20 of them in here, but it's like, half of it's basically half a layer cake but slightly smaller. It's got a really cool pair of scissors. They're basically too big to be snips, too small to be like real scissors, so I don't know what I would be cutting. They're still really cool looking. There are a couple tags to put on things. The premium woven quilt labels, so I can insert these into the quilts that I make with Nantucket Summer. There is this, it's like a coin purse or something, or a little small little notion bag, zipper bag. Don't know what exactly. Is there something in here? I like to believe, something's in a bag, it's empty, but it feels like there's something in here. And there is the do not eat packet. Okay, that'll teach me to wonder what it is, but it's got like a kind of a vinyl-y feel. There are like zipper pulls or like a charm or something like that. So I think this would go really cool on, the bag I'm planning to make. There is a mini charm pack of Nantucket Summer. So not certain what they would do with that, or what I would do with that yet. There is her Swoon 16, or Swoon block, not necessarily 16, sticker, so I can find a place on my sewing machine for that. There is a pattern here called Nantucket Baskets, and it requires the 8-inch squares. So there's that. And it requires some background fabric, some sashing fabric, and border fabric, and binding, and obviously backing. So that's the second purchase I'm going to have to make with that. I will leave that out for when I'm ready to purchase. There is a little book Down here it looks like it's like Piece Magazine or something. Skimming through it, some of it looks like it is like stuff about her and her family, so stuff like that. But then, like, she's talking about notions and stuff like, oh, look at the kitty! Look at the kitty! Look at the little kitty! I'm sorry. But when you get to like here, this reminds me of like I saw it at my local quilt shop. The booklet that you order your fabrics from and everything to say these are what I want and these are the kits that I want and everything else. So that feels like that. So I may have to go through there and say, is there any other kits that are available that I want? And then finally, there is a set of 2 journals. One of them has the swoon block on it. I'm pretty sure that's I may not know. That's the flower. That is the flower. This is the flower is the other box kit that I got, and it's about to arrive, so that's why I'm not showing it off now. The other journal is the floral fabric. So I think this was a pretty solid buy, just because, you got a lot of stuff in here, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of stuff that, may not have been available through other means, because I don't know if I could actually, I think I could buy some of the charms, and I think you could buy this, but I know you can't buy the, that Piece Magazine thing, and I don't think you could buy the 8-inch squares, but you can buy them as 12-inch squares, but you'd have to buy the full layer cake, not the half. So I am really excited about this. I do like it's almost, like I said, it's almost like a toolbox that this is. I kind of like that because it means that I can potentially fill it up with some of my notions to take to a class, although I have other stuff that I can carry my notions with. But again, it's a cute little carrying case. So that was my purchase, and like I said, a lot of it was, or I'm sorry, the bag fabric was intended. The rest of it, not so much, but things happen. When I got home from my little shopping spree, I started cutting triangles again. I've made it pretty clear that I hate cutting half square triangles this method. I know that, if you're doing anything traditional with the half square triangles, you still need to square them up because nobody sews their seams straight. And I would probably be doing a lot of this trimming and everything no matter what. But at least if I'm trimming, I can put things at angles that work better for me. I haven't found a good angle to put the strip and the ruler so that everything looks good. So again, that's a rust problem, not a pattern problem. Between Thursday and Friday, I got about half of the triangles cut. A little bit more than half, actually. So I can call that about a half win. I did time myself cutting a few of the strips. And based on that, I have a couple more hours left of cutting. So hopefully I will be able to get them cut and everything before the weekend, because I've got stuff I need to do. Then on Saturday, fast forward just a couple hours, it started with Saturday Sampler, because this is the third Saturday of the month. Saturday Sampler is out the first or third, and I normally do the third. But this time, I decided I was going to leave a little bit earlier than I normally do, because I wanted a donut. They opened a donut place right by my local quilt shop. And they have just been raving about the donuts. And I'm like, they're donuts. They can't be that exceptional. Yeah. I walked in the donut place, and basically I was almost overcome with the smell of sugar. It felt like going into a Krispy Kreme while they are making the fresh glazed donuts. And if you've never walked into a Krispy Kreme with a hot light on, go find one, walk in there, and eat like a dozen fresh glazed donuts because those things are so good. So, like, almost overwhelming with the smell of sugar, but I'm like, that kind of makes sense because we are in a donut shop. It's not like, you know, donuts are one of their things, but they really do. No, it's primarily a donut shop. I was overwhelmed with their selection. They had a giant case of donuts, and I was like, I don't know what I want. So somebody came in right behind me, and I was like, please go ahead. I'm in shock trying to figure out what I want. As I was going through looking stuff, I saw a maple bacon donut. And we all know everything is better with bacon. So I was like, okay, I want that, but I also need a drink. And I was like, I don't drink coffee. It's vile to me, although I like coffee ice cream. I don't quite understand. So I asked the folks behind the counter, I was like, don't like coffee. What kind of options do you have for, crazy people like me? And she goes, do you like matcha green tea? I was like, yes. She's like, that's going to be a good option. So I was like, okay, sold. As I was getting myself settled, one of my favorites that works in a local quilt shop came in, and I was like, Cheryl, I got some exciting news for you. And she goes, let me guess, your sister's coming to visit. I was like, how'd you know? So, we were talking, and she's like, you need to bring her to see me. I was like, that's already on the list of plans to do because, she can't come in this state and not see you because a couple of years ago, they had the most hysterical conversation from what I understand. My sister wanted to buy me a gift card to that shop. So she called the shop up and said, yeah, don't tell him, but I want to buy my brother a gift card. He's in there all the time, blah, 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 blah. And they started talking, and when Cheryl figured out that it was me and my sister, they were just having a ball talking and stuff. And because Cheryl knew she couldn't tell me that she had bought a gift card, she had to keep it quiet, which was hard on her as well. So either way, got to talk to her and said, yes, I will be bringing her. These are when my sister's coming. So obviously Saturday Sampler Day, we will be here because I have to go first Saturday that month, because I'm out of town third Saturday. So that is going to be fun. She got her order, and then finally my order came out, my drink, and I sat down. And let me tell you, it was good. Like, so good. The closest I could come to a complaint was the beverage. You know how powdered sugar has that distinct flavor? Like, you make something with regular sugar, you make something with powdered sugar, there's something that's in the powdered sugar that gives it that distinct powdered sugar taste. I could taste that in the drink. It was still good. It worked perfectly with whatever was going on. And I was just like, this is so good. Like, I'm going to have to start going every month to the donut shop, pick up a donut, then go to Saturday Sampler because, yeah, it's so good. And it kept me from being hangry in Saturday Sampler. Because, as I start to wake up, I'm like, I'm hungry, and that's all I can focus on. So having that little donut got the edge off. Having the drink just was really good. And it's kind of good that the shop is only open until 3, because otherwise I would find excuses to try to go up that way and get more, like a dozen or something like that. So the fact that, I can only really go there on Saturday, maybe Sunday, and they're closing at 3, that's what's going to save me. So, yeah. After Saturday sampler and everything was over, I came in here and I did my 11sies live. I worked on piecing the star block units, which is this 4-patch. There we go. This 4-patch, or if you want to look at it this way, this 4-patch, it has 2 triangles of the fabric from the fat quarters. It has a square from the fabric of the fat quarters, and then it has an accent piece. And if you put 4 of these together, you get a star. And I had to do it this way because these 4 are not put together. They just exist there. And I have some of these here. So I have some of them done, but the star block is not made from the same fabric in all 4 quadrants. It's scrappy, so you have to do 4 different four different of the fat quarter fabrics. So I demonstrated on the live at the beginning that this is how we put the units together. This is how they come up with star block, and then I just started feeding my fabric through, chain piecing it through, because then I can just push everything through, then I can press everything, and I can press everything through again for the final seam of the 4-patch. I got almost all the way done by the time that the live was over. And then I ended up joining my friend Steven for his pop-up sew day. Steven of the Idiot Quilter. Awesome guy. Fun pop-up sew days. And I got the last of the first seams done from the 4-patches. And I spent the time and pressed them. So everything in this pile is pressed. And I started sewing some of the 4-patches together. So I've got a pile here. I don't know how many this is, but it's a fun pile. So they're not done, as you can see, but I got some good progress on. I didn't get anything more done on Sunday. I tried to be motivated, but, well, I had problems. Because, remember a couple weeks ago when I said I had pink eye? Yeah, Saturday, the same pain that I had in this eye at the end of last month started showing up in this eye. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So just like last month, I was like, okay, can I see what's going on? So I pulled my eyelid down a little bit, took a zoomed in picture, and this time I was able to see what the problem was. And because I was able to see what this problem was, and because I was having the exact same sensation over here, I don't think I had pink eye the first time. I think I had a sty. And I only say that because what I saw in this eye was basically very, very similar to what the Google search result was from when I said, what is a sty? So I was like, okay, good. This is what I think it was. The school nurse at work said, basically, there's nothing that could really be done for a sty when I was in there at the end of last month, except for the compresses and stuff. And I later found out that there's an ointment that you could put on. But when I was reading the reviews on Walgreens' website, there's a whole bunch of stuff that said, these are from influencer posts or something like that. And every single one that said that gave it a 5-star review. Everything that was, a 1 or 2 star review, basically said, there were real people and nobody liked it. And so I was like, I don't know if this is worthwhile, because if it's only influencers saying, oh yes, this is good stuff, and real people are saying no, it shouldn't. I later found out from a friend of mine that it really does work, so I should probably look into it if this happens again. I don't know why, I had it in one eye and then a few weeks later I had it in the other eye, because this isn't something that should spread. The pain was like, it increased and increased from Saturday into Sunday. Sometime Sunday afternoon, almost evening, the pain started to go down. I don't know if I went nose blind to it. I use the phrase nose blind because the plug-in sense that they have use that phrase. It's that whole thing. If your nose becomes accustomed to it. So I don't know if my brain was becoming accustomed to the pain. That can happen with a few things. Like if you stub your toe, it still hurts, but your brain just says, okay, I'm just going to ignore you because you're being annoying and stuff like that. So yeah, I was just like, don't know what it was, but pain hasn't been back since. So I'm just assuming that it went down. I'm still having an occasional, almost like a film on my eye. Blink a couple times, it goes away. I don't think I really need to get the ointment because, like I said, it's not hurting and it's healing. So I'm just going to leave it as. But that is basically the whole reason why I have this unfinished pile left, because I couldn't get any motivation to do anything. And then Monday, this was really cool. I got home at the usual time and, I go into the living room, open up Riley's crate and say, let's go outside. And she goes to the back door because that's where we go outside. As I'm coming down, she's wagging her tail like crazy. And I'm like, what's going on? Is like Lulu outside or something? So I go and I'm trying to get her all settled in and everything. And her teeth start chattering. And when she gets really, really excited, her teeth chatter. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, what are you so excited about? And I'm about to unlock the door and I look out at the same time. I'm like, we're not going to go outside because, yeah, you can't go out here, baby girl. You and him will not get along. There was a deer in my backyard. And most people are like, yeah, that doesn't sound overly special, until you find out my entire backyard is fenced in. So the deer had actually bound into my yard. And based on where he was and everything, we assume he came in from further back. So I don't know where he's staying right now, but he came in from back there. I quickly texted a couple neighbors in case they wanted to see him and promptly brought Riley out front because, yeah, I wasn't going to try to get her anywhere near that deer. I wasn't going to get anywhere near him. She was really good out front. My next door neighbor decided that he wanted to come see if he could get some pictures. And Riley's like, ooh, I'm going to go say hi. And I'm like, you can't go say hi until after you've gone potty. So she did her good thing. She went both numbers. And I'm like, crap, you still can't go say hi because he's allergic to dogs. So did my best to try to make her think that she's getting attention, but still not. He got a few decent pictures from the really bad angle. And I was like, do we want to go to the other side of the house for the gate over there? You might be able to get some good, like, my backyard's a triangle, so you might be able to get some good opposite angle pictures and stuff. We get over on that side and the deer's already gone. And because he didn't come out front, we know he bounded back through the backyard. So I don't know whether he bounded into the wooded area that's in my neighbor's yard or whether he went into the neighbors behind me. Whatever. Don't know where he went. But, he bounded the fence back. So hopefully he stays safe. He was very, very majestic. And yeah, I am not stupid enough to do that. So how was your week? Did you have any surprise wildlife visits? I don't know everything that's coming up this week, mostly because some things haven't been 100% confirmed yet, so I can't talk about things until they're confirmed. I do know that I need to work on cutting the rest of the triangles. And by the triangles, is I want to get at least a good portion of what's left cut, because I need something to work on for my 11Zs. I can't start piecing the star blocks together because, yeah, I can't tell you. There is a good reason, though, and it's one of the stupidest reasons that probably anybody's going to come up with, but it is a completely valid reason, in my opinion. You want to know what the reason is? You will have to come watch my live on Saturday, but it's a good reason, trust me. So yeah, over the next couple days, I need to get triangles cut so I could at least have enough to work on throughout my live, even if I don't get all the triangles cut. There might be something else going on Saturday, but like I said, it hasn't been confirmed yet, and not talking about it. And among the rest of the weekend, I have star units that need to be completed. Star units, star units, star units, because following Saturday, I'm currently planning on making the actual star blocks. And I need to get all the units done so I can lay them out, make sure I have a good mixture for the star blocks. And that's going to get me pretty close to having the quilt done. Maybe I will have some good time on Labor Day weekend to, get the blocks together, get them laid out, maybe start piecing them together into the field of the quilt. Especially since I can't do borders live, because we've talked about that. Borders, I'm very meticulous about things. They have to go a certain way. I am not doing those live and getting distracted and something happen, or fighting with really long seams, or fighting with all the pinning and stuff. No, that doesn't happen live or a really large border. So once I get that done, that gives me a chance to figure out what I'm working on next. And we'll figure that out. Labor Day weekend is going to be a fun time for me to figure that out. Anywho, I think that's probably going to be about it for today. Sharing my weekly shenanigans with you is definitely the highlight of my week. I mean, what else am I going to be doing start singing about a doe, a deer, a female deer? Because, that was a buck that was in my yard. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want. That is the easiest way to let YouTube know that you enjoy what you are seeing and to get YouTube to send me out to other folks. Of course, you could also do that yourself by, sharing this video or my channel with your friends or anything. I'm trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. And as soon as I get to that 1,500 mark, there will be a giveaway. So this is your incentive to try to say, hey, go subscribe to Russ. He's sometimes a pretty funny dude. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and an awesome week. Until next time, stay happy and remember, always measure your life in love.